A large storm system is forecast to move across the United States over the next week and into next weekend, bringing with it some severe thunderstorms, damaging winds, and even a tornado threat as well. We're going to discuss all of that as well as the local forecast here for today, moving into tomorrow with our rain chances and what they look like right here on this week's episode of the CoastalCast. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the CoastalCast. Right now, we are watching our general thunderstorm risk here for portions of the Grand Strand, extending all the way into little areas like Little Rock, Arkansas, Jackson, Mississippi, and down in through Charleston, and all the way down into Tampa. There is a marginal risk of severe weather where we did see some severe weather this morning and some severe thunderstorm warnings for the Jacksonville area and parts a little bit wester. So we're going to be watching that as we kind of move through the day today. But overall, rain has not really started here along the Grand Strand as of right now, but we will be watching that as we kind of move through the next 48 hours. We will talk a little bit about what that looks like here as we move in throughout the episode here. Looking out at day 2, are looking at that general thunderstorm risk as well, going into tomorrow and into Tuesday morning. By Tuesday morning, everything looks to be out of here, and we will start to clear up for the rest of the week. So definitely nothing to worry about as far as tornadoes, wind, or hail for Tuesday. And today, there is a 2% risk here for tornadoes in the Jacksonville, Tallahassee, Gainesville, Florida, Panama City Beach, Florida, Lakeside, Florida. So if you have friends and family in those areas, please make sure they have a way to receive alerts and you stay in contact with them. As far as wind, definitely 5% chance there in those same areas. And hail, we do have a 5% chance all the way up almost into portions of Savannah, Georgia, and stretching out into portions of Alabama as well. So like I said, if you have friends and family in the Florida area down here in the southeastern portion of the United States, make sure they have ways to receive alerts and you keep them updated on the current situation and what is going on. So as we look through the next couple days here, as we get out into next week, what is the weather going to be looking like? Well, we can discuss that right now. So what we're looking at here is the 300 millibar. This is the jet stream. Okay, so we're working through, you can see this area of low pressure that's going to be working through our area over the next 48 hours here. That's going to slide over and off the coast, and eventually, as we get out into Wednesday, you're going to see this little trough here start working across the United States. That does bring the risk of some severe weather to portions like Texas, Louisiana, a minor risk of severe weather. As that scoots off, this is really going to start building the next trough, which is going to be that large system that we're watching to move across the United States here as we go through the middle of the week and next weekend as well. So that trough's going to build, and it really deepens down here out over about the 15th of the month. It starts to really deepen down into portions of Texas. Now this is at 300 millibar, so right here, pretty much just off the surface, or just below. Or sorry, this is the high end portion. The 850 is we'll look at here in a little bit here. That is just off the surface. So you can see this jet stream really stretching, and what we're looking at is this. This is out at the 19th of the month. This is getting pretty far out there, but what we're seeing is that dipping of the jet stream, and that's what's really bringing that severe weather risk as we start to ridge up and that dip comes down into the trough. That's on the outside edge of that's where you're going to see that severe weather. So this is looking to be a pretty decent storm system here out to about the 22nd, 23rd. Could bring some severe weather as well. So we're not going to worry about that far out right now. We're going to focus on today and moving through towards next Sunday. So what does today's weather look like here? Well, we're going to run this out here over the next 24 hours or so. and kind of see what this is going to look like for us as we move through. Not a whole lot of precipitation here today, but as we get into the overnight hours and into tomorrow, we're going to be looking at the chance of some pretty significant rain throughout the day tomorrow, and then eventually by Tuesday morning, everything's cleared out and we begin to clear up, and for an overall pretty decent week as we move through the rest of the week. Temps are going to warm back up, and we're going to look really good. So as far as rainfall goes, the GFS is a little crazy here. 3.6 inches of rain in Myrtle Beach, 1.8 inches of rain in Florence, Columbia 1.9. So everywhere else is about 1 to 2 inches of rain. Here along the coast, the GFS is calling for 2 to 3, maybe more inches of rain, which this would be optimal here for us along the Grand Strand, especially in the Carolina Forest area. 3 inches of rain could be definitely beneficial with the current drought situation, as well as the wildfires that have been ongoing now for 8 days. Or 9 days, actually. So definitely want to keep things. This would be optimal to see this kind of rainfall. Now, the European here, a little bit more realistic here, 1.2 inches. So that 1 to 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches as well. You get down into Charleston, you get a little bit closer to that 2 inches. Savannah, Georgia, closer to 2 inches. Look here out at Statesboro, 2.3 inches. So would be awesome to see that there's high level of rain according to the GFS, but we're kind of bouncing back and forth here. So the rainfall totals, I would say 1 to 3 inches of rain are possible depending on how this system wants to track across the United States. So looking ahead out to later on in the week, we're talking about that big storm system that wants to move across the country. So here we are looking at the 300 millibar. I'm going to run that out here to precipitation type and rate. We can kind of look at that overall storm system. So here's today's storm system. Here you can see the center of low pressure down over portions of the Florida Panhandle, and eventually, according to the GFS, is going to just scoot right over top of us, right off, just right along the coast here, and then eventually out to sea as we get into Tuesday morning. This does bring overnight hours here, and then early morning Tuesday by 7 a.m. everything is completely out of here, and we start to clear up. So now we move across. You can see that storm system here out on the 13th. It's going to look to bring a little bit of severe weather here, maybe to portions of Arkansas. There is a slight risk of severe weather there, but overall not a very large storm system. What we are watching is this big, large Colorado storm system here looking to form and become a rather large storm here. We're out at 974 millibar, so very large mid-latitude cyclone at this point. Getting out to the 15th, you can see that ramp up of severe weather, a line extending all the way from Michigan all the way down through Louisiana. That looks to be pretty robust at this point as far as precipitation goes. But we'll look at that on some other model items here. Supercell composite is being one of them to kind of look at what that might look like. And as we stretch over here to the eastern portions of the United States, specifically the southeast, going up into portions of Virginia, I think the main concern is going to be these portions of Virginia, a little bit of portions of North Carolina as well, as this system kind of moves across. Can't rule out the fact that we may see some severe weather here along the Grand Strand next Sunday into Monday, but definitely keeping an eye on this system as things kind of go along. Now, we are still a little ways out from this yet. We're about a week away here, so things can change, and they will change drastically as we kind of move through the next the next about 72 hours or so. We'll probably be talking about something totally different here. So this does change a lot as we kind of move through, but overall, very large storm system looking, and that can bring some pretty significant snowfall as well to portions of the Dakotas and as well as up into Canada. But as far as the snow threat for like portions of the Northeast, I think this is going to be all rain and storms for you guys. because this storm is going to, this area of low pressure is way up here in Canada, is going to extend to that northeast a little bit faster, and leave those snow chances up a little bit further north. So then stretching out a little bit further, out to that 22nd time frame, looking like we could see a rather small mid-latitude cyclone here form, which could bring some weather here to our area. But again, that's pretty far out, so definitely nothing to be concerned about at this point right now. As far as the supercell composite, this is going to show you the conditions favorable for severe thunderstorms. As you can see, as we move throughout this week and into the 14th, 15th, that supercell composite really stretching all the way up into Michigan and Illinois and Indiana, Ohio Valley, they're seeing a little bit, and stretching straight down through Louisiana, Arkansas, a little bit of Tennessee, definitely Mississippi. So as we kind of move through, this is going to be out to the 15th, and we look out over Sunday for us, Sunday afternoon and early evening. We do run that risk for severe weather here along the Grand Strand, stretching all the way up into portions of central North Carolina out to eastern North Carolina as well. So definitely going to be keeping an eye on this. This will change probably a lot here as we go through the next couple days, but that increasing confidence in the chance of severe weather here along the Grand Strand and portions of eastern South Carolina, central to eastern North Carolina, stretching all the way up into the Washington, D.C. metro area as well. So we will keep a close eye on that, and we will probably have several lives here this week on this system as things kind of progress through. So what does this look like on composite reflectivity? So this is what the radar could look like as we start to experience maybe some severe weather here as we go throughout the week. Here's that small little system here that's producing the possibility of some severe weather in Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi later on in the week. But that quickly fizzles out here as it gets over towards South Carolina, so nothing to worry about there. And then here comes that big storm system over coming out of Colorado, and eventually moving. The center of low pressure will move up into Canada, but we will pull some moisture off of the Gulf of Mexico. How much moisture right now is kind of up in the air, because it really depends how much moisture that little system beforehand wants to pull out. So that little system on the 13th, we're going to see how much moisture that's going to draw and how we're going to set up. But this looks to be a pretty decent warm sector here, extending all the way up into Michigan as well, leading to plenty of storm fuel for the risk of severe weather and tornadoes here in portions of Dixie Alley, extending over into South Carolina. But this is how this is looking to build out here. You can see these lines of severe thunderstorms and heavy rain moving all the way up into portions of Michigan, extending all the way out into the Gulf. And eventually, as we get out to the 16th and 17th here, or the 16th, moving across the state of South Carolina, you can see a small line of what looks like it could be severe thunderstorms at that point. So we do run that risk of severe weather, especially, like I said here, portions of eastern North Carolina who were hard hit last week with severe weather, and extending all the way up into portions like New Jersey, eastern Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware. Those areas could see the risk of some severe weather as well as this system moves through. But after that, clears out pretty good, and looking halfway decent. We do have some small weather makers here, but again, this is going to start kind of laying the groundwork here for these storm systems to just keep kind of popping up and bringing some severe weather to Dixie Alley. This could be a pretty interesting spring here as these systems continue to move across the country and bring severe weather to the south and southeast. I think we're going to see a elevated severe weather risk here this spring as we kind of move through into April and May as well. So definitely want to make sure you have ways to get alerts and multiple ways to receive alerts, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so when we do go live, during severe events, you are the first to be notified. So definitely want to keep an eye on that. So what do things look like here out to our 5-day forecast? Monday, we're going to be dealing with those rains and showers. Can't rule out the rumble of thunder as well as we go out throughout the day today and tomorrow. But looking tomorrow, high of 60 degrees with those rain lingering all day long. So if you're going to be out and about, take an umbrella with you. Tuesday, looking sunny, high 70. We do have the slight risk of a passing shower in the morning hours, but eventually turning sunny. And that's going to stay sunny throughout the rest of the week into next weekend. Until that large storm system kind of works through. Now, timing can change on that large storage system, so we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on that. Probably by Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll start having daily lives on that as well. But as we move out to Wednesday, sunny, high 72. Thursday, sunny 72. And Friday, sunny 72. So overall, pretty decent week as we move through, if we can just get through Monday and kind of move through that. So this is rain that we desperately need, so we're going to be thankful for it as we move through the overnight hours tonight and into most of the day tomorrow. So super excited for the rain. We definitely need that. I know the firefighters will be happy for that as well. So little update on the forest fire here. The Florida task force has moved in and kind of assumed command of this to give our forestry division and Horry County Fire Department a little bit of a break here. So definitely keeping an eye on things. It's still a very fluid situation. Fires are still burning at this time currently, and hopefully that this rain will help aid and assist the fire department in some of that. But we do expect to see those small spot fires kind of burn over the next, it could be weeks, as these fires continue to burn, just because of the type of environment that these fires are in. So definitely keeping an eye on that. We haven't forgotten about that, but it's just we need to start shifting ourselves over back to the weather side and getting ready for these large systems and keeping you guys aware of severe weather moving through the area. So that's all I have for today on this episode of the CoastalCast, where we will be live again this week talking about that severe weather risk as we get a little bit closer to Sunday. Things will probably change drastically and often as new model runs come out. It's very, very difficult to forecast weather beyond 5 days. But as you can see, the Storm Prediction Center does have advisories here out. This is out on day 6, probability of severe weather as we move through, 15% chance. So this is that large storm system moving out through the rest of the week, and then eventually into portions of Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, and even into Georgia. And then we are out to day 8. Don't have anything here for us and our area as of yet. So there's a lot of confidence here that we're going to see severe weather in portions of the central portions of the United States, and even into Dixie Alley here as we move through the remainder of this week and into next week. But definitely keeping an eye on this. So the confidence is not quite there for severe weather here along the Grand Strand quite yet, but it is building and starting to look like we could see the potential for some severe weather. So I suspect over the next couple days, we'll see some of this change a little bit, and the Storm Prediction Center is going to get on board with probably at least a slight risk of severe weather here along the Grand Strand as we get a little bit closer to next weekend. But that's a long way out, and we will continue to monitor that for you. So you stay safe, and I'll make sure you stay aware.